This is the newsroom for Thursday, January 31st, 2020. We're broadcasting to you on E1, Scar TV, NTN, and Tarzi TV in Bartica. In the headlines, Cuban remanded to prison for murder of partner and daughter. Marketing local tourism businesses, major focus for 2021. Police promotions on hold as High Court hears complaints of discrimination. And in sport, long-standing rivals Linden and Georgetown clash for bounce-back football title on New Year's Day. With the news, I'm Kurt Campbell. We're glad you can join us. First up, the government has extended the current 10:30 p.m. to 4 a.m. curfew and other COVID-19 measures to the end of January 2021. Included in the guidelines republished on December 30 are restrictions on social activities, while bars are still not allowed to reopen. In addition, no recreational activities are allowed on any river, creek, beach, or swimming pools. Social distancing, hand-washing guidelines remain in place, and wearing masks when in public remains mandatory. We tell you now that a 27-year-old Cuban national was on Thursday remanded to prison for the murders of his 34-year-old spouse, Tara Krishnaran, and her 11-year-old daughter, whose bodies were found at their Princess Street Lodge, Georgetown home on December 26. Joel Rodriguez appeared before the Chief Magistrate Ann McLennan at the Georgetown Magistrates Court and was not required to plead to the two charges. Particulars of the charges alleged that between December 25 and December 26, 2020, at Princess Street Lodge, he murdered Krishnaran and her daughter. He was also remanded to prison until January 18, 2021. Krishnaran and her daughter were discovered dead in their Princess Street Lodge, Georgetown home on the night of December 26 by the woman's father. Police said the duo was murdered sometime between Christmas night and Boxing Day. The police recovered a blood-stained hammer and knife at the scene. On Monday, the police arrested Rodriguez at Amelia's ward, Linden, and he later confessed to the gruesome crime. Post-mortem examinations conducted on Tuesday found that Krishnaran and her 11-year-old daughter died from blunt trauma to the head. The 11-year-old's death and compounded by an incised wound to the neck. The autopsy also found that the child was raped, but could not confirm if this happened on the day she was murdered or whether it was by the suspect. Director of the Guyana Tourism Authority, Carla James, has said that one of the major areas of focus in 2021 would be to market and promote local tourism businesses to locals. According to James, international travel should begin sometime after the first quarter in the new year, and as such, they will be looking to have accessible tourism products and destinations to Guyanese.
The updated COVID-19 gazetted order provides for tourism businesses and eco-lodges to reopen under protocols established by the Guyana Tourism Authority, and so far 11 businesses have been approved for safe travel. Director of GTA, Carla James, said during a press conference on Thursday that tour operators and lodges are also being urged to get creative with what they are offering as packages, as the GTA will be working on improved tax concessions for local tourism businesses, strengthening the capacity of the workforce, and policy changes such as gazetting a revised licensing framework and amended regulations. James further explained that the current regulation is very stringent and not realistic to what is happening internationally for tourism.
Importantly, in helping to, bounce back, I think, in a very big way, we are going to be increasing our marketing drive to compliant tourism businesses, encouraging persons, domestic, diaspora, international travel to book with these locations and businesses that have been approved safe for travel, basically. And that is going to continue to happen, I think, throughout the year.
Already 12 hotels have committed to investments in Guyana, which will greatly boost the industry. Visitors' arrivals from January to November decreased by 98% in 2020, mainly due to the closure of airports and borders. Tourism businesses also lost 42% in total revenue for the period March to September as compared to the same period in 2019.
And then, of course, looking at implementing measures that provide incentives for tourism investment in Guyana and support the operations of tourism businesses. And we know that, there are some work that have started with this already, and which is why we have seen, I think, to date, 12 investments that are committed towards new hotels in Guyana. But we do need to create more activities, more experiences. So we are going to be working with Gov't and GRA, et cetera, to come up, revise the tourism incentive package to encourage more businesses opening as tour operations, or even putting in activities, as I said, such as zip lining, etc., just so that there are more things for people to do that are accessible and that are not as expensive, especially for our Guyanese that want to go out there to explore their own country.
The GTA reported that its strategy to use overseas companies to market Guyana has paid off. According to the Deputy Director, Kamrul Bash, this achievement was especially so in the United States, the UK and Germany, where marketing representatives for the Guyana Tourism Authority meet with tour operators and encourage promotion of Guyana. The GTA has also developed an official hygienic and sanitation protocol to alleviate the uncertainty of COVID-19 and give guidance to businesses. The authority has also assisted with developing a standard operating procedure for the businesses within the sector. Reporting for the newsroom, I am Isanella Patwell.
Guyana has officially signed on to the new agreement that will govern trade and investment between the United Kingdom and the CARIFORUM group of countries following the UK's exit from the European Union. CARIFORUM is made up of a member of nations of the Caribbean Community CARICOM and the Dominican Republic. The UK is Guyana's largest trading partner in Europe and sixth largest trading partner overall. It accounts for 2.1% of imports and 8.8% of all exports, and is an important market for exports of sugar, rice, and rum. Previously, CARIFORUM countries engaged in trade with the UK as part of the CARIFORUM EU Economic Partnership Agreement. Dr. Ashley Singh, the Senior Minister in the Office of the President with responsibility for finance, signed and issued a ministerial order on Wednesday that gives effect to the CARIFORUM UK EPA. A statement from the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation noted that the ministerial order therefore brings into effect from January 1st, 2021, the CARIFORUM UK EPA, which will serve as the fundamental mechanism that ensures continuity in the existing preferential trading and investment relations and facilitate uninterrupted market access and other EPA benefits for the CARIFORUM states in trade with the UK. More news after the break. Stay with us. You're watching the newsroom. The Police Service Commission will not be able to go ahead with its annual promotion of police ranks this year. Chief Justice Acting Roxanne George on Thursday granted an order which instructs that the current status quo in the Guyana Police Force remains as it is until the matter comes up again before her on January 12, 2021 at 10 a.m. Senior Superintendent of Police Calvin Brutus had moved to the High Court to block the promotions of senior officers as he complained that the PSC was acting unlawfully and irrationally. The matter came up before the Chief Justice for the first time on Thursday morning, where she accepted a suggestion put forward by the Attorney General, Senior Counsel Anil Nandlal. It was Nandlal who asked for the matter to be put off until the second week in January 2021 and for the Police Service Commission to hold its hands in going ahead with the promotions. Nandlal said this would give him time to understand what caused this grave and serious breakdown between institutions. He said he needed time to get clear instructions from the Police Commissioner and the PSC, but ultimately Nandlal intends to ask for the matter to be withdrawn from the court. The Chief Justice, in granting the order, explained that it is not injunctive, as she reiterated Nandlal's point that one does not want to have discord in such an important institution as the Guyana Police Force. There are reportedly 2 other lawsuits filed in the High Court along with that of Brutus. Brutus himself complains of being jilted and protests that the PSC is using a trivial pending matter of breach of discipline to deny his promotion to Assistant Commissioner. He believes that this practice of not promoting persons who have disciplinary matters against them perpetuates a permanent injustice against him and others who are scheduled for promotions. In his application to the High Court, Brutus is asking for a declaration that the policy of the PSC not to promote or consider for promotion ranks with pending disciplinary matters before it is unlawful, a declaration that he is entitled to be promoted to the office of Assistant Commissioner of Police, and an order cancelling the decision of the PSC denying his appointment to the office of Assistant Commissioner of Police. Additionally, Brutus has asked the court to cancel the decision of the PSC to promote Edmund Cooper, Philip Azor, and Curly Simon, Senior Superintendents of Police, to the Office of Assistant Commissioner of Police, and to compel the PSC to reconsider its decision not to promote him to Assistant Commissioner. Brutus contends that some of the ranks up for promotion also have disciplinary matters dated as far back as 2016. His matter dates back to 2019, but he claims no progress has been made on conducting and concluding an investigation. 28-year-old Kester Lewis, a taxi driver, was on Thursday charged in connection with the death of 29-year-old David Barclay of Triumph, East Coast, Demerara. Barclay was killed at about 2 hours on Sunday on Durban Street, Lodge, Georgetown. Lewis was slapped with a manslaughter charge when he appeared before Chief Magistrate Anne McLennan at the Georgetown Magistrates Court. He was placed on $300,000 bail and the case was adjourned to January 25, 2020. According to a statement from the Guyana Police Force, Barclay approached Lewis on Sunday night in a bid to have a tire on his vehicle repaired. Reports are that Barclay was short of $700 to pay for fixing the tire, but collected the money from her and returned to Lewis' car to make the payment when he was struck down. However, Lewis told police that he was in the process of driving off when Barclay jumped onto the right side front door and held on to him, causing him to lose control and crashed into several vehicles which were parked on the street. Barclay, who was lying motionless on the road, was taken to the Georgetown Public Hospital, where he was pronounced dead on arrival. The incident occurred moments after Barclay celebrated his birthday. Police believe that an East Bank Demerara man who disappeared mid-November was murdered, even though a body has never been found. The police believe that the man's tenant may have been involved in the crime and have issued a wanted bulletin for him. Wanted is Leon Waddle, called Mac. He lived at Fort Creek, Kuru, Linden Soosdike Highway. The newsroom reported that Answar went missing on November 15, 2020, and an official missing persons report was filed on December 16. His brother, Harvey Stull, told the newsroom that Waddle stayed with his brother for some time. When he was asked to move out, Harvey claimed Waddle threatened to kill his brother. Anwar's house at Kuru was found ransacked with what appears to be bloodstains on the floor and walls. Harvey said the lights, food, and solar battery are also missing from the house. On Thursday, he confirmed that the police took samples of the substance on the walls, which they tested and confirmed to be blood. Harvey said on Wednesday the police also took samples from him for a DNA test to confirm the blood came from his brother. Anyone with information that may lead to the arrest of Waddle is asked to contact the nearest police station. When the newsroom returns, the financial, weather, and bridge reports along with sport. Now take a look at what's happening in sport. We start things off with some football news. Two teams with a long history in football will play the first competition match of 2021 when they contest the highly anticipated final of the Bounce Back Classic on January 1. President of the Guyana Football Federation, Wayne Ford, is anticipating an exciting game that will give the Federation an insight into potential Golden Jaguars pick. Avinash Ramzan reports.
The novel tournament, which is organized by the Kashifan Shanghai organization in partnership with the Ministry of Culture, Youth and Sport and the Guyana Football Federation, kicked off last Tuesday at the National Stadium, Providence. All four participating teams were in action on the opening day, with Linden All-Stars defeating East Coast All-Stars 4-2 and Georgetown All-Stars pulling off a hard-fought 3-2 win over West Side All-Stars. The outcomes have resulted in a Linden-Georgetown clash in the final on Friday evening from 18 hours at the National Stadium. As was the case on Tuesday, the final will be played behind closed doors and streamed live on various platforms. President of the Guyana Football Federation, Wayne Ford, who has been very supportive of the initiative, said the 2 days of football will afford the Federation the opportunity to assess the core of the national players ahead of crucial international engagements in 2021.
The Bounce Back Classic is really a continuation of the GFF UEFA Bounce Back program that we've been engaging over the past couple of months. The main focus of this event is really to give the national team, coaching staff, an opportunity to assess the core national team players and at the same time to see some of the players that may have been on the periphery of the national program before the final selections are made for the preparation for the FIFA 2022 World Cup qualifier and of course our CONCACAF Gold Cup preliminary championships which will take place in July of 2021. I believe that we're going to be able to put off a good event. The emphasis is really on ensuring that the event is organized within the guidelines that were set out by the National COVID-19 Task Force, and also in compliance with the game day protocols that we have developed with UEFA. So I want to invite the general public to tune in on NCN and e-networks and enjoy a good day of January 1st, 2021 football.
The matches signal the commencement of competitive action after 9 months of inactivity due to COVID-19. The final will be streamed live on NCN Channel 11, eNetworks, AJTV, and the Ministry of Culture, Youth and Sports Facebook page. The tournament has received the corporate backing from Ground Structures Engineering Consultants, the Trophy Stall, Mohammed's Enterprise, ExxonMobil, and Tigers Rentals. Reporting for Newsroom, I'm Avinash Ramzan. We tell you now that the Cricket West Indies selection panel, which is chaired by Roger Harper, opted to give a recall to Jason Mohammed and more so, install him as the captain for the one-day international team for the tour to Bangladesh. The decision, which raised eyebrows in some quarters, was defended by Harper, who stated it came as a result of Mohammed's experience.
Mohammed appeared in the last of his 28 ODIs for West Indies in July 2018 at Providence, where he made 12 from 15 balls against Bangladesh. The now 34-year-old was in imperious form at the Super 50 in November 2019, where he hammered 357 runs in 7 innings at an average of just over 89 and a strike rate of over 105. He scored 1 century, 101 not out, and 3 50s for his native Trinidad and Tobago Red Force. Apart from such, he captained a weakened West Indies T20 side on their tour to Pakistan in April 2018, after the seasoned players opted out due to security concerns. Yet again, senior players opted out for a tour, and this time due to COVID-19. And the combination of the aforementioned and the vastly inexperienced squad is a rationale for Mohammed's recall. The squad has 8 players without ODI experience.
We thought with a team of this nature, where there are a number of young players and, a lot of the regulars, so to speak, absent, we needed someone with a little more experience, someone who would be able to help to guide and nurture the young fellas on a tour like this, and we thought Jason Mohammed was the best fit. He's a seasoned regional player. He has represented the West Indies in the past, and he's got captaincy experience.
When West Indies last toured Bangladesh in December 2018 and lost the ODI series 2-1, Rovman Powell was the skipper, since then captain Jason Holder was injured. Powell has also led the regional side in other instances and would have seemed the logical choice in the circumstances, but Harper said the panel wanted to give the 27-year-old a chance to focus on his personal game. The promising all-rounder has gone through a lean patch in all formats of the game. His last ODI score of 50 or more was 74 not out against Bangladesh in July 2018 at Warner Park, but 8 innings after, his best is 22. On the last tour to Bangladesh, he made 16 in 3 innings and has not played an ODI since December 14, 2018.
While we appreciate the fact that Rovman is in the squad and he's done that, I think you realize as well that Rovman, I think at this point, needs to focus a little more on getting his game to the sort of standard we know he's capable of delivering.
West Indies arrived in Bangladesh on January 10th, after which they played 3 one-day internationals from January 20th to the 25th, followed by 2 tests which start on February 3rd and 11th. The West Indies ODI squad reads: Jason Mohammed captain, Sulin Ambris vice captain, Nkrumah Bono, Joshua De Silva, Jamar Hamilton, Chimar Hola, Akil Hussain, Alzari Joseph, Kyle Mears, Andre McCarthy, Kejoin Otley, Rovman Powell, Ramon Rifa, Romario Shepard, and Hayden Walsh Jr. For the Newsroom, Akin Green.
Now, the New Zealand captain Kane Williamson has overtaken Australia's Steve Smith and India's skipper Virat Kohli to top the ICC Test batting rankings. It is the first time since 2015 that Williamson has held the top spot. He has scored a career best 251 and 129 in 2 Test matches this month. Kohli remains second overall, while Smith's poor start to the Australian summer has seen him drop to third. The first time since November 2015 he has been outside the top 2. Smith, who has held the top spot since February, has scored just 10 runs across 4 innings against India, who leveled the series 1-1 with victory in Melbourne. Kohli hit 74 in the first Test defeat by Australia, which will be his only appearance of the 4 Test series, having returned home for the birth of his first child. And Formula One world champion Lewis Hamilton has been knighted in the Queen's New Year honours list. The Briton 35 sealed a 7th driver's title at the Turkish Grand Prix in November, equaling Michael Schumacher's championships record. Hamilton won his first world title with McLaren in 2008, with further successes in 2014, 2015, 2017, 2018 and 2019. He clinched the 7th World Championship and became the most successful F1 driver ever when he won the Turkish Grand Prix in November 2020. The Mercedes driver had already surpassed Schumacher's record number of race wins the previous month, with Hamilton's total now standing at 95. And with that, we've come to the end of the news for this evening. I'm Avinash Ramzan, wishing you a safe evening. See you in the new year.